Nolan's films are some of the best films ever. His dedication to the craft, the cinematography, the idea of his films, it's amazing. The one thing that makes his films is time. Time has always played a big role in Nolan's films. Inception was about dreams and running out of time. Dunkirk was about the same event over 3 separate perspectives, with the ground troops over the course of a week, the boat being over the course of a day, and the air being across an hour. Oppenheimer is about the scientist Oppenheimer and his life. We switch between the future and Lewis Strauss's perspective in black and white, and the coloured being in the past being Oppenheimer's POV. Interstellar was about space travel and time dilation and the consequence of experiencing that, with Cooper travelling into the future due to the black hole. Tenet's idea of time has always been a standout across Nolan's films and across the film industry. Traditional time travel has always been about some machine or a person being able to go across different points in time. Tenet is very different. It's not called time travel, but it's what it's called time inversion, with time running backwards. Seeing this film for the first time, I was amazed by it because it's Nolan, but by looking into its idea of time and the plot of the movie, we see how both intertwine to create a unique story. Following John David Washington's actor, the protagonist, he goes on this spy adventure across the globe, meeting and working with people to stop the future from destroying the past. The first major event being the Opera Siege. The protagonist, a few Americans and Russian agents, are sent in undercover to extract a VIP and get part of what is called the algorithm. When the Americans do find him, they try and switch him out with a decoy, but the Russians straight away find out that he's not the real VIP, for which they try and torture John's character. He'd then bite a cyanide pill and die. He'd wake up on a boat and be briefed about a new mission which goes beyond international law to stop the future. I'm not going to do a deep dive into the story, but I'd soon meet with Robert Pattinson's character Neil, in those who'd infiltrate a penthouse in India and make contact with an Indian arms dealer called Priya, and following John's character, he would meet the antagonist of the film, Sator, a Russian oligarch played by Kenneth Branagh. Moving plot recap aside, the film's concept is probably one of the best ways to show time travel. In this film, it's called time inversion, where a user can use a machine called a turnstile to go back in time, meaning everything is inverted and moves backwards. Of course, the idea is obviously out there, but I like to say it's more grounded than most films that use time travel, because it uses real-world physics ideas. The main one being the second law of thermodynamics, entropy. I'm not a physicist myself, but from what I remember, entropy relates to disorderliness in a system. A more ordered system has low entropy, and a more disordered system has high entropy. Using this idea as a foundation for time inversion, it makes it feel more grounded because it's not some magical made-up technology. It uses real-world ideas to transform and make a unique way of time travel. The writing for Tenet, when you dissect it, is what I think is the best way to write a spy film. John's character is called the protagonist, and we only know that at the end of the film and in the credits. For other characters, we only know their names. That's it. There's no sad or dramatic backstories to why they are or who they are or why they're here. They're just here, and John's character has to deal with the cards he has dealt with. Obscurity makes for a perfect spy film like Tenet. We don't know much about these characters and the world. We don't know about the political climate or anything else contextual about the world. What makes a spy is the obscurity of the person. These people come from all walks of life, from different backgrounds culturally and economically, and Nolan doesn't make us too attached to his characters. The performances the characters give, from what I remember seeing, wasn't overly prolific. It wasn't something grandiose. It was much more subtle and nuanced. Just like a real spy, they aren't going to be like James Bond or Ethan Hunt and do some crazy wacky stunt or trying to save the world, but they would keep to themselves, only saying what's necessary. Through the film, we watch as the protagonist and Neil meet up to try and stop Satan and the algorithm, but throughout that there's no scene where they talk about their lives or what they do. Not even a bit about their background is really shared as they do their job until the last scene, where we find out that the inverted soldier who took the bullet to lockpick the gate was Neil, who says his goodbyes and goes into the turnstile to live that event and walk to his death. He'd reveal much more, that him and the protagonist have been friends for years, and that the future version of the protagonist and his organisation Tenet sent Neil into the past, and that the protagonist would go on to create the organisation Tenet and become friends with Neil. Only until then were we given the extra information. From the start of the film till that point, nothing is given about these characters or their motives, but once Neil drops the bomb on John's character and the audience, then do we realise who Neil is, who John's character really is, and what Tenet is.